This not just girl talk.
It's talk for the people.
You got two women,
Two voices,
one sound.
and that's the truth.
You here with the married Don,
And the selective Dawn.
and we here to call a spade a motherfucking spade. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get to it. We back, bitches.
Is this what 35 looks like for you? Approaching 35.
I'm not. Yeah.
Okay.
I probably should calm down a little bit, grow up, be a little bit more mature. But I don't give a fuck. Fuck y'all. It's like, nah.
You alright?
Yeah, I'm alright.
You have a lot to celebrate though.
What, life?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You've had several successful events under your belt this year. You transitioned
Several?
into
Woo.
not we, you. You did the part 2 to Enough Sister wedding.
We started with everybody's responsibility first.
Okay.
Then we did the photo shoot.
You've done some volunteering with a nonprofit, right?
All right. Yeah, come on. Let's get to the good stuff. How your week been?
My week been cool. It's been 2 weeks since we've been in the studio.
And I've missed you.
I've missed you too. We
a
back.
lot. And I'm right up the street from you, and I still don't see you.
You are right up the street from me both ways.
I
Home and work.
know. And I've been fucking some legacy up too. I've
Have
been
you?
fucking that shit up. They
For
got
lunch?
these dinner, cause I'll be asleep at lunch. They got these honey something.
Are they wings?
No, they tenders because they don't do boneless wings. Hey Quentin, they don't do boneless wings,
Oh, okay.
so I have to get the tenders. So I get 3, but I can only eat 1.5 at a time.
Okay, this gonna blow me for the show, so I'm gonna get that off.
Thank
Sorry.
you. But what's been going on?
Nothing. Just cooling and fooling.
Cooling and fooling.
More fooling than cooling.
Red cups in the big butts.
That's what you said. Did I win?
Couple shows ago with
I don't think
Keisha.
so. Did I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it's a
You
red
see
cup with a
me?
big butt.
You be putting out all kind of shit and you be forgetting.
Old age will do that to you. Welcome to 35.
I ain't there yet. Nah,
You are.
I ain't claiming that. I got a couple more weeks.
Oh, now you got a couple more weeks. Just face it, you in your mid-30s.
I'm almost there.
Okay.
I'm almost there, but I'm
Okay.
claiming a good year 35.
You don't feel like 34 was good for you? You don't feel like that was your breakout year?
34 was decent.
Just decent?
Yeah, 34 was decent.
Oh, man. I would think that you would feel like 34 was great.
Mm-mm.
Milestones and elevations took off.
Mm-mm. Nah. 34 was good, but 35, no. What he tell you?
It dropped the mic.
Oh,
So
put
it
that shit
wouldn't look
closer
like
to
I
you.
was.
Oh boy, but we've had. What did they play last week?
Whose responsibility?
It's so funny they played that. So can I tell you a story?
Go ahead.
So I went to this black business person, and when I tell you shit has really changed,
When you say person, do you care to share what type of business it was?
it was a hair business.
Okay.
But dog, like literally, to make an appointment, it was like a whole page of fucking directions.
I'm not doing that. I hate that.
If you got thick hair, it's an extra $10. If your hair is your hair tangled, it's $10. If your hair is longer than 4 inches, it's $10. You can't be 15 minutes late. But meanwhile, I waited 30 minutes for her to show up, and she
What?
had to discipline her kids in between.
What do you mean to display her kids?
She had to discipline her kids. In
Oh,
between.
discipline.
Yes. After I had to wait.
So you paid for a la carte services, meaning everything that you got was itemized.
I don't understand. Like,
Was it worth
really?
it?
Yeah.
So what you complaining for?
Cause it's just like a hair appointment should not be that difficult.
But you went through with it.
I ain't got no choice. Everybody
You do.
doing that
You go
shit.
to the Africans and walk in and pay $180 and be done.
And then that's when I ain't got no edges now.
Well, I don't know if we want to say that the Africans did that, but don't put that on there.
It almost look like I'm bald right here on the screen a little bit, but I'm not. But
I can't really take you serious right now.
I'm dead ass serious.
I know you are.
But no, seriously, these black businesses are getting out of control.
So what do you think people should have took from watching Whose Responsibility versus Everybody's Responsibility that we did in February?
Well, I think it's something that we always talk about is self-accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people have to be like, don't tell me it's 15 and 15. If you 15 minutes late, it's an extra $20, but you coming in 30 minutes late.
So what did you pay the person? Did you pay the person the full amount, or did you
I
itemize? Okay, so I think that's a teachable moment. I'm going to itemize my time.
But, you know, people don't like you to tell them how to do their job.
I don't like you to tell me how to be a customer.
That's a good one. That's a real good one. You're right.
You know, you've given me all these rules and stipulations, and I've supported your business, and I still had to wait 30 minutes. My time is just as valuable as yours.
It is. It definitely is. You're right.
So what did you take away from that experience? As a paying customer, full price, you waited the 30 minutes. You allowed the person to still do your hair. They disciplined their children. What you take away from that?
Nothing. Nothing, because
Will you go back?
Yes, I will go back, but I kind of went into it already knowing that these black business owners, the way that they're going about business,
Does that make you want to be a better provider in service?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't have like a service like where I'm doing hair or cooking food or anything like that. Like, what I like to focus on is more so of actually assisting somebody in something that I think, well, you know what, that it's a little different, because I think that like hairdressers and stuff, they give people a whole different type of confidence.
They do, because let me tell you something. When my hair is laid, what? Listen, my pep is a little better. My step is a little better.
I agree.
And don't let me have a fresh shape up. Whew, I'm snatching all the fathers. All of them. Okay, well, that's a lesson in business. But you will return. So let me ask you this. When you return, are you going to give this person your feedback?
No.
So how do you expect them to improve as a business? Because I'm pretty sure there are other people with these same concerns.
Well, then they should say something.
You should say something.
Nah,
we not being accountable. You can't pass the buck to everybody.
I'm being accountable for me. I can only be accountable for me. I can't be accountable for them. Who, me? Carmen?
What? Oh, okay.
I can't be accountable for nobody else. I'm going one because it's a black business. I always want to support black business. But, you know, y'all do y'all thing. But the shit is just too much. When I got to the little page, after I paid my deposit, and literally...
Let me ask you, how much was the deposit, if you don't mind me asking?
$50.
Was that half of the style?
Yes, because it was a special. It was $100. And that included the hair. You know, that's good.
Enough said. We can go ahead and move on from that. Enough said.
So anyway, we got a lot of feedback about the Lamont show.
We did. I think the reviews were very touching. I will say that. I think they were very heartfelt. So shout out to Mr. Lamont Carey. Yeah, that was a hard show to watch back.
It was, and I actually watched it back and listened to it back a few times. And it just made me realize some of the things that black men go through that I didn't know they dealt with. Like, on top of the things that I see them dealing with, those are like emotional things that I never have seen a black man actually deal with. And it's sad that I think that he had to go to prison in order to address some things.
Do you think that he would have been as successful had he not gone to prison?
I'm not sure.
That's fair.
I'm not sure. But I applaud him for sharing his story and being honest. Like, that was a big deal. And actually, that's the most feedback I have gotten from men from watching our show. And we've had men on the show before. But, like, niggas was really relating.
Not niggas.
Oh, I mean, men were really able to relate.
Let's take that out of our vocabulary in the upcoming year.
Niggas?
Yes.
Yikes.
Let's
so
work
when
on
we
that.
got until 2020? So I can
Yeah,
say
let's
that
work
until
on that.
2020?
Okay. Let's work on that.
Okay, well, men were able to relate to him, and I think that was healthy. I think that was really healthy. I think a lot of men try to do the whole speaking thing, but people can peep that they are not sincere and genuine about their experiences, and they're doing it for a like, or they see somebody else doing it and they want to do it. But I think that he came across really genuine
And raw. When he spoke about having to, and these were his words, spread your butt cheeks, that made me cringe.
Does that make you look at a man differently?
No.
Really?
It doesn't.
It makes me look at them differently because I feel like that has to be humiliating.
If you tell me to spread my butt cheeks, it's humiliating. Like, that's just a humiliating act.
But to have to continuously do that has to mess with your psyche.
There are a lot of things that mess with our psyche that we learn or have learned to suppress.
This is true.
So
that's kind of like what you're talking about today. A little bit? No?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
With the parenting and who is raising who.
We'll be starting off with that one.
So we both are 80s babies, raised in the 90s. And what would you're a parent. How did you learn to parent?
From my mistakes. From my mistakes and from seeing how my kid reacted. I think that my oldest definitely got the short end of the stick. I was too young. I was unprepared. But I learned from the mistakes I made from him on how to be a better parent for my kids.
Okay. So with being a better parent, did that make you a better person? Or do you feel like it made you a better person?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a right or wrong way to parent?
I think that depends on the kid. No, because everybody's different.
Okay.
So you have to handle things differently. I mean, you're a teacher. You see, you can't deal with kids the same way.
No, absolutely not.
And actually, Lamont kind of touched on that a little bit when he was talking about how teachers how they're taught to, they have a certain curriculum.
A standard.
And they are, I guess, expected to teach a certain kind of way. And that's not really fair to a lot of kids. I actually think that's how a lot of our colored children get, like, lost in the sauce.
Minorities.
There you go.
That word color make my skin crawl.
Don't it?
My father says that.
Colored?
Yes, that's how he identifies himself. He tell you, quit. It's nothing black on me. When he has filled out paperwork and stuff, he will check the box other and write colored.
Really?
And that shit burned me up.
That's so different. When I hear somebody say colored, I automatically think of segregation.
Well,
like I picture the sign on the bathroom or the sign on the water fountain or some shit like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that word.
You're right, minority. So I think a lot of minority kids get caught up. That's how they get lost in the educational system.
Okay.
So what you think about parenting?
I think it's no rule book to parenting. I think that oftentimes when you do become a parent, you sometimes follow the lead of what you were taught or what you saw growing up. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it wrong. Parenting it's a bunch of trial and error. What might have worked for the first child is not going to work for the second and third.
But it's like trial and error with a actual human. And I think that's what kind of fucks with people.
As far as what?
I mean, so, like, I don't ever want to make a mistake as a parent raising my kid. You know what I'm saying? But it's only natural because nobody's perfect. And like you said, there's no rule book. There's no rule book to parenting or life. But I'm making a mistake at the cost of my child's possible future. Like how Lamont was saying, how women will oftentimes say, oh, you're a big boy, don't cry, things like that. And you're teaching them to suppress it. or you're teaching your kids, you know, hit them back when they hit you, and how you were saying that's like training them to the charge of assault. That my mistakes in training him could possibly cost him his future. And I mean, that's what I hate about parenting.
I'm waiting for you to finish.
That's it. Period.
But why do you have to hate it? Like, why can't you unlearn those things? Like, why can't you change how you deal with certain situations?
You can change it, but I think that once somebody hears something, or once you teach them something, it's hard to unteach them.
Okay. So let me ask you this. What do you feel like effective parenting looks like?
I don't know.
You believe in beating your kids?
Yes, if necessary, yeah.
Now, we talking about beating, or we talking about whooping ass? Is this a difference?
Beating.
Okay.
I'm not. Like, I hate when I go in a store and I hear somebody be like, get your motherfucking ass over here, or I'm going to knock the shit out you. Like, that shit burns me up. How can you talk to a kid like that? A kid?
Maybe that's how they would talk to. So I'm asking, like, you know, when you were parenting, do you parent based on how you were parented, or what?
I definitely think that your background has something to do with how you raise the next person. But I think being a parent, and like, that's a hard job. It's a hard job. You're responsible for somebody's life.
Yeah, you know what somebody told me today? When I was talking about this, they were like, you know, you were raised to be a stone.
A stone? Mm-hmm. What that mean?
And I was like, well, exactly. What does that mean? They was like, you know, nothing breaks you. Nothing.
Is that good or bad?
I really didn't know how to take that. I mean, you could take it as being strong. You could take it as having maybe poor coping mechanisms because you don't know how to express yourself, or people deem that you don't know how to express yourself. But I thought that was interesting.
Did you see either one of your parents like that?
What, as stones? All right, Mom and Dad, don't get mad when I say this. So I didn't see my parents the way my older siblings saw my parents, right?
You're the youngest.
Yeah, I am the baby.
Okay.
Everything stopped after me.
Okay. What's the age difference? I'm sorry, from you and...
Well, I have... my older siblings are well in their 40s.
Okay.
And then my sibling right in front of me, he's 36.
Okay.
So he and I are close in age, and then there's at least a 8 to 9 year difference between my older siblings and I.
Okay.
But I think that I got the best version of my parents, because by the time they got to me, it was just like, that's lump. You know, just let her go. And not let me go as in like they didn't rear me. It was just like certain things that they weren't as hard on me for. That, yeah, I know my older siblings, I know they got in trouble for stuff.
You think they should have been as hard?
Probably not.
So you think them being a little bit more lenient gave you a lot more character?
It allowed me to be free. Like, I didn't feel like I had to sneak around and do certain things. I could just do it. Like, my parents and I, we friends now. You know, like, we could sit down and shoot the shit. Literally, shoot the shit. You know, I could throw back a red cup with my mom if I need to. You know, I could sit there, laugh and talk all day with my dad. You know, a lot of people don't have that type of relationship with their parents. But that didn't just start.
When did it start?
When I was younger.
Okay, so not when you were an adult. Okay.
No.
So do your other siblings, how do I want to say this? Do they say stuff to you about that may bother you?
No.
Why?
Because it just don't bother me.
You think it bothers them?
It might. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. One, I don't know how it makes them feel, but no. For the most part, I don't believe so. Everybody just knows me as like, oh, that's the baby.
All right, well, you got Alicia Keys out here. And she had a post about her son. I think his name is Egypt, but don't get me wrong.
I thought it was Genesis.
It might be. But so anyway, he wanted a rainbow manicure. And first, I guess once he got it, he said people would not like it. And then she was like, no, get it. Like, she was encouraging him to do it. So what you think?
I'm not encouraging my son to get a rainbow manicure. And let's be clear, because I want people to understand I'm all for child individuality. But at 4, I'm teaching you good grooming habits. I'm not allowing you to paint your nails. I'm not even allowing my 4-year-old daughter to paint her nails. That's just me. And I think with her, she wanted to push the whole agenda of acceptance. Like, oh, he's a child, so why can't he have this creative ability to be free? No, I'm not introducing my child to that. That's just me, though. And I think that's a Hollywood culture. Because I just can't see you being Alicia Keys in the Bronx, working at the diner, and you taking your child to go get his nails done at 4, and he's picking out a rainbow manicure. Like, that's not what you're around, typically.
But there are a lot of kids out here that's dipping and dabbing in different type of sexualities and things like that at a very young age. Like it's getting younger and younger when like little kids are now saying, oh, I'm either gay, or oh, like if it's a boy, I'm supposed to be a girl, and they're like 3, 4, or 5. So
and then how do you see those children dressed?
Me personally,
how have you seen them dressed? Do you see them dressed as their gender or how they identify?
I've seen some dress how they identify.
And I'm looking at the parents for that.
Why?
At 4, you're not buying your own clothes. I'm buying that.
But you just said your parents let you be free.
My parents also would not let me walk around with bib overalls on and dump trucks saying I'm a little boy.
But you said you were a tomboy.
A tomboy, yes, but I still was a girl. I still put my dresses and shit on. I still wore those ugly-ass white ruffled socks. Thanks, Mom.
I remember them socks.
Shits was ugly and itchy, but I still wore them. Like, my mother still made me, you're going to dress like a little girl. Like, yes, you can be a tomboy. That's fine.
So she was grooming you to what she wanted you to be?
She was grooming me to what I was, a young lady. Like, I was a girl.
Okay.
I was a young girl.
Oh, I'm just asking because a lot of people are being really, letting their kids be really, really free. And they're saying that they're pushing the whole individuality. They letting their kid just be them. They don't want their kid to...
You buying your kids?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not. No, I don't. But I don't believe in a lot of things, and people think I'm wrong for it. Like, I'm not buying my son dolls. I'm not doing it. I don't care. I half-assed wanted to buy my son a kitchen set.
You don't want your son to know how to cook?
Well, after I thought about it, yes. But, like, when I think of a kitchen set, I think of a little girl playing house.
So now we get into societal roles and standards. Society says that women belong in the kitchen and men belong with. So what would you have rather bought him outside of a kitchen set?
I don't know, a truck or a ball or something.
After I bounce the ball and drive the truck, I'm hungry.
Hey, listen, I end up buying it, and he actually loves cooking. He actually cooked better than his sister, to be honest.
Well.
Psych Chan, I'm just playing. But no, sir. I mean, like, I think that society is forcing kids to make adult decisions. Like, I think that a lot of kids, like, they're talking in different school districts about gays and, like, even Arthur, for example. Like, now the cartoon Arthur is supposed to be, like, 2 men that got married on there.
Mr. Ratburn.
I don't know. I
think it was
that.
Mr. Ratburn who got married to a man.
That's just too much. And I think they had something on Disney Channel where they was, like, showing the same sex kissing. And I just feel like that's just way too much for such a young kid, because when they're 5, 6, 7, like, they're soaking everything up.
So you think the agenda that they're pushing is very premature?
Too premature for kids.
So when would you want your child to be exposed to same-sex couples?
That's the
like,
thing.
when is an appropriate time? Because that's the argument. If I can't tell them at 4, what can I tell them at 5? And if I can't tell them at 5, can I tell them at 6?
I don't know. I really don't know. I just think that kids should not have to worry about certain things. Kids should not have to worry about who's kissing who. Like, even when my kids watch, like, shows when it's like a boyfriend and a girlfriend, I still feel like you too young for that. You should be watching somebody playing or running or falling. Like, why are these shows that's rated like Y7 got girlfriends and boyfriends? That's not important.
So it's not important to show, like, a healthy relationship or what a healthy relationship should look like?
At 7? I don't think so.
So do you feel like they're grooming them to just be adults at a very young age?
Yes,
Okay.
I definitely do. And
so what are you doing as an individual, as a mother, to say, I'm not ready for my child to be exposed to that? Do you limit what they watch?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I can't stand YouTube. Because you can type in anything, and there's no telling what the fuck may pop up sometimes.
You absolutely right, because one time I was at work.
Uh-oh.
No. And I didn't know that Craigslist was a porn site.
Uh-huh.
And I typed in Craigslist, and I didn't put the S on Craig.
Uh-huh.
I ran to my IT department so quick because I didn't want them to think I was at work looking at porn. But
so what came up? I might want to watch that when I get home.
No, you don't.
Oh.
Wasn't nothing too interesting. It was a white woman with big pink areolas.
Uh-huh.
But like it flashed across my work computer, and I was like, oh shit, I don't want them to think, you know. So you're right. You type in anything, and no telling what's gonna pop up.
No telling what's gonna pop up. What, Alex? What you got to say?
Hi. I've been wanting to respond the entire time. Just the whole thing is fast. So one thing I wanted to respond on is an interesting kind of dilemma where you want to expose your children to certain things, but the thing is, how do you avoid exposing them at the wrong time? Because you don't want them to end up fearing the other, because that's when it turns into, oh, she's gay, something's wrong with her. Oh, he's gay, something's wrong with them. Yes, you want to be careful how you expose them to certain things, but you don't want to end up enforcing negative stereotypes. I mean, like, I've heard all kinds of stories about people, you know, like in Africa, putting people in stacks of tires and set them on fire because they're gay. Like, this stuff is real, and we can't avoid it. And, you know,
I just think that introducing them to something like that at such a young age kind of takes away a little bit of their innocence.
True.
I just think that a 5 or 6 year old should not be worried about who likes who.
Well, let me say this. I would rather introduce them to the world before the world introduces them to it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be the one to shape that narrative.
So when do you think is the right time? Especially in today's time. You got men now being able to go to women's bathroom.
And I don't like that.
I don't either.
Honestly, I say the sooner the better. The sooner the better, because I don't want you to be out and it's like a culture shock to you. Like, I don't want you to be that child and it's like, oh, why you doing this? Oh, why you doing that? If I've had a conversation with you and I've, you know, made it plain to you and have it so that you can understand it at your age and comprehend, I feel like I've given you a little bit of the necessary tools to kind of navigate that.
So let's take the Alicia Keys scenario, for example. Say your 4 or 5 year old wanted a rainbow manicure.
No.
And that's it? You just shutting it down?
I am. Well, explain to me, why do you want a rainbow manicure? Where did you get that from?
What if he say, I just want to be individual? I like this.
Be individual and you just get a regular manicure. Like, I understand good grooming. Like, I'm with that. I'm with, you know, having your nails clipped, your cuticles clean. But I'm not allowing you to paint your nails.
Okay.
I'm not doing that personally. No.
So you're going to tell him no, but you want to know why. And
where'd you get that from?
Okay, let's just say he explained all this to you. He say, I got it from my friend at school got it, and I really like it.
And what do you think that's going to make you feel like? Like, what is that going to do for you?
It's going to make me feel like a big boy. It's going to make me feel like I have my own I am Egypt, Genesis, whoever. I don't know.
You disrespectful.
I don't know the little boy name. I really don't. Honestly, I don't care.
Okay.
But, well, no, let me not say that. I do care because there are kids like that my kid will be going to school with.
Your kids probably already go to school with kids like this.
This is true, and I'll have to explain it to them. But, I mean, what would you do?
No.
Just no.
You're not getting, at this age,
but I like this, Mommy. I want to be.
I understand that you like this, but I want you to understand the long term of what's happening right now. Like, you want rainbow nails. Why?
It looks cute. You got rainbow nails.
I don't. I have blue nails.
Well, he going to say, well, I want blue nails and sparkly nails.
No.
Why? You got it.
Because I paid for it.
Well, pay for me some.
You know that age-old saying that the black parents say, because I said so.
But what is that really teaching them?
It's teaching them that, you know, you're not going to always get what you want.
Okay.
You're not gonna always get what you want. Sometimes you need to get what you need, and what you need right now is for me to put my foot down and say, you can get a manicure, but you can't get rainbow nails. Mm-hmm. That's a compromise.
Okay.
Okay, Alice, what you got? You burning behind that mic.
Sure is.
Well, no, like the way I'm looking at it is like perhaps the child is merely interested. Perhaps the child is merely drawn to that expression of color, to rainbows themselves. So you might go, you know what? I'm not gonna go for the nails, but how about I put you in a painting class, and you can play because, like, you know what I mean?
So offering an alternative.
Offering an alternative, a way to explore the medium, because it could just be that his first exposure to rainbows was seeing someone's nails.
Okay.
And that experience was so powerful. Then he's like, you know what? I like color. She had it on her nails. I might want to try that myself.
Okay. That's
and
fair.
He doesn't know I can paint. I can play with color. You know, I mean, because like, so my first exposure to people of different gender identities and whatnot was when I was real exposure was when I was in City Year. And our team leader was a lesbian, and I remember you know going there and meeting her or whatnot, and I was like, she's normal. And one of my roommates when I was in college was gay, and like floridly gay, but you know he never tried anything. Like he was normal. He was a bit flamboyant, but he was normal.
So what were you taught as a younger child? What were you taught to think about those with different attractions, or you know, both of y'all, not just Alex, you too.
Oh,
you are Dawn. Go ahead. Anybody?
Go ahead, Alex.
So we were taught that if two women were getting it on, that's sexy, but if two guys were getting it on, of course, that's of course considered distasteful, because of course that makes sense. No, it's the double standard is so clearly real. And, you know, I remember back when I was in college, I saw the film A Single Man, but with Colin Firth, and it's based on a book, and it examines the final days and eventual death of a teacher after his husband is killed in a car crash, and he's unable to go to the funeral. Like this back in the 60s. He's unable to go to the funeral because the family will not allow him to do so. So he cannot grieve. He cannot process anything. And it is such a beautiful and powerful expression of love. And I remember watching the movie, and I was like, I don't care who you are. I would love for someone to view me. No,
oh, okay.
but I would love for someone to view me in that fashion. And when I saw that,
what fashion?
Love is universal. Love should not be bound by only these two genders can have an attraction to each other. When I saw that, I was like, you know what? That makes sense. And that stripped away any preconceived notions I might have had about right and wrong, because, you know, all these people out there who are against, you know, gay marriage and whatnot, I want them to be able to go to someone and say to their face, I do not want you to marry the person you're in love with. And I want them to I want them to go home and look at themselves in the mirror and I want them to, it's so easy to just write something on a piece of paper when you're not seeing the people you're actually affecting. When you don't see them as people, you see them as other. Oh, this person, he's gay. You know what I mean? It's so easy to just otherize them.
So what are you saying, that people that do not support that are what?
They're bigoted. They're bigoted, and they're holding on to notions that are part of a previous age in our culture that need to change. Because
why does it need to change?
Because otherwise, it's none of the. We're still going to have these divisions. We're still going to have this hatred. That legitimate.
It doesn't have to be a hatred, but
it's
fear.
I
agree with it.
What? Motherfucking mix. What?
I don't think it's a little of a fear, but I'm not sure that going with what we were taught or how we were raised is such a wrong thing.
I mean, if you look at it from a species' perspective, I mean, I can understand the fear. Two people of the same gender being in a pairing does not produce a child. If you increase the ratio of that within the species, you will likely have decreasing birth rates. I mean,
so what do you think about that? Like, as a teacher, what do you think about, or is there a difference? What?
Go ahead.
No, have you seen a difference in the way, and I don't know, you may not have experienced this, but have you seen a difference in the way that a child that comes home from a two-parent home that has the same sex, have you seen a difference in their behavior rather than one that comes from a two-parent home that's male female? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I have early in my days of education, I worked at a charter school, and there was a young man who he was African American. He was one of my students, and he was being raised by two Caucasian gay males. And this was before marriage was legalized, so they had a union. And to watch his mannerisms, he was so receptive to everything that was ever presented to him, because his thing was like, well, I mean, I live different, so I want to accept people for being different.
Wow. That's wonderful.
I'm not gonna say I had an issue with who adopted him, because I definitely felt like they did it with his best interest in mind. But sometimes when I would see him, I'd be like, why you ain't coming that baby's here? Like so it was cultural things that I had a difference with. Right. Not necessarily who was raising him. It was like you can't wash his hair every day. Right. It's just certain things you just couldn't do with him.
I agree.
And then I had those students who came from heterosexual two-parent households who were significantly damaged. They didn't have the coping skills that he had. They just had a mother and a father, but they had a dysfunctional mother and father.
Do you think that the way he grew up will affect who he decides to be in a relationship with in the future? Because I think
don't
that's a lot of
believe
people.
So.
Okay.
Because last I saw him, he was dating a young lady.
Okay. I think that's a lot of people's, argument when they see like two same-sex people trying to raise a kid is, oh, you're putting this in their mind that's okay. I want to make it real clear. I don't care who you sleep with. I just think that a child's innocence should be protected. And
now, when you say you don't care who you sleep with, are you talking about the parents? Are you talking about the adults in this situation? Or are you talking about the children?
I mean adults.
Because children grow up to be adults. So let's not say we don't care who you sleep with, because we've had in previous shows that, oh, nah, my son can't be this way.
Well, I care who mine sleep with.
Okay, but others, you don't care. Okay.
No, I don't care. But I do care who mine sleep with. But, I mean, I don't think that because you decide to be in a same-sex relationship, that makes you any less of a parent. I don't think that you cannot be a good parent because you love somebody of the same sex. I honestly don't know if that affects a child. I really don't, because I feel like there's still a whole lot of world out there.
Okay.
And I know a lot of kids, or I know a lot of adults now who are gay but grew up in two-parent households. So that could happen, if it was the opposite.
I get it.
But I feel like that we are forcing a lot of these kids to live adult lives, and not just sexually, but you see a lot of little girls with a whole bunch of fake hair. Or you see a lot of girls with two pieces, or dressed like grown fucking women, or boys dressed like grown men. I just don't think that kids' innocence is protected anymore. I think that we're rushing them to make these adult decisions that mentally and emotionally they're just not ready for. And I think that we're doing more damage than anything.
Now, do you think this is the wave of the world, or do you think this is like the era of social media? Because, people love to say that, oh, social media plays this part, social media plays that part. Do you feel like it plays a part at all in this instance? Because we have argued that, and not argued, you and I, but we have definitely made claim that social media is very impactful.
I think social media is very impactful, but I think that I have to take it back to the show that we had with AP. I blame a lot of these issues on the black woman. And I think that...
You a black woman, so that's a strong statement.
I am.
Do you hold stake in any of these issues?
I do.
Okay.
Because just the conversation we was having the other day, and how we were talking about how it's trendy now to have that certain type of best friend.
We gonna say it.
So I don't even know how to describe
it. It's trendy to have
the gay best friend.
Yeah.
A gay best friend. It's trendy now.
I think it's more trendy to have a black gay best friend than it is more so of a white. I see a lot of people that I know, they tend to flock more to the black men that act like that. Which, by all means, hey, do what you do. But I think that is, we're creating a space where we're contradicting what we're teaching our kids. And I think that's a lot of pressure for a kid to take in. Like how you said, I tell my kid, don't do this. But I'm at your show cheering you on. Yes, girlfriend. Yes, bitch.
And I remember you wanted to go to one particular show. And
I did.
And gave me the whole lineup. And I'm like, fuck no, I'm not going to support that.
I did. I absolutely did. And I'm not going to lie. I might go again. It's funny.
But it's not.
I mean, I remember I heard someone say one time, like, you know, like, you're fine with us, you know, hosting your fashion shows and designing your houses and whatnot and curating all that stuff. But you know what I mean? Like, but when XYZ happens or when we show, you know,
Take your time.
I remember one time, so one day I had to film a burlesque show. And I love doing videography and photography because it puts me in different places. And I love filming different things. And when I heard about it, I'm like, I have to film this. And I went there. And it was the weirdest thing I'd ever filmed. Not necessarily, not like weird in a bad way, but just like the most unique. And I watched this. And I'm watching grown men wearing costumes and grown women wearing costumes. And just this amazing, the energy in the room was insane. And you see people like flower open. And you just, it's just this beautiful expression of like sensualness and vibrancy and emotion and just, there's a whole lot of stuff in there. And you're watching that happen. And it's like, I'm sitting here, I'm wondering how much of the world I have avoided by, you know, looking askance at this kind of stuff. And like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because these people engage themselves in theater and whatnot. They're heavily involved in, hell, the black church and whatnot. And I'm just like, how much have I missed because of my fears and my presuppositions and my like, oh, I'm a man, so I can't like, you know, look at or examine these things on a deeper level. Like, I mean, I'm quite comfortable with my own gender assignment and whatnot, but like, how many things do we avoid because it's like, I don't want him to know that I went ahead and watched this or looked at that or whatever, because you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we spend all this time worrying about. I think we have this fear that if we're around someone who's gay, that somehow that's going to make us gay too, or whatever it is.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think that it goes back to just how we were raised, because, like I said, black women love to be around a gay black man. And
why?
I don't know.
That is a huge question that has to be answered.
I mean, I have some favorites that like men, but I wouldn't say they're my favorite because they like a man. They're just my favorite because of their personality. I think that men nowadays feel like they have to have this big dick swag. That's not real.
And wait a minute.
Wait, what? Because I've heard so.
Hold on, Alex. Because we not glossing over this. And what exactly is big dick swag?
Like, you know, the whole niggas that
men.
Oh shit, yeah. Men that
exude this certain energy.
Like to be that alpha male.
But I thought we liked the alpha male.
Speaking of alpha male, we know 2 alpha males that turned into bitches. Can we say that?
Well, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say turn into some whores.
I like bitches better.
Okay.
But niggas want to play this whole alpha role, right? But you're not really an alpha male, and that's okay. It's okay not to be what society deems as an alpha male. You know what I mean? But I think that black men just have this stigma where they feel like they have to live like that.
We're told that we're supposed to be like that. I mean, like,
who told you that?
Hell, everyone tells us this.
Well, you an alpha male?
Well, no, I'm not an alpha male. But like, I was raised in a single parent household by a black woman, and I was raised to be. I came out very, very emotionally warm and like the way that I am is the way that I am, and I got.
How are you? Because
You know,
they can't see you right now. So
like I'm the kind of person who's one of my favorite things to do is to go to the park and take pictures of flowers, and like listen to classical music. I like cooking cornbread in the morning and knitting and stuff like that. But I also ride a motorcycle. Like I'm. I was never into football. And like I remember the first time I tried playing football, I got tackled once. I'm like, no, I'm done.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
but I think that black men are trained to, play that role to where they got to be the football player or they got to be the basketball player. But you don't have to be that. Like, my son can sing his ass off. He can sing better than me, and I think I can hold a note.
Who can sing, Frankie?
Yes.
And you think you can hold a note? Nigga.
Anyway, but that doesn't make him feminine. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do. Like I said, my youngest cooks better than my daughter some days. You know what I mean? But that doesn't make him feminine. I think that it's okay for men to be in touch with their emotions. And I think that that's what's going to keep that whole down low shit to a minimum.
Speaking of down low, real quick, did you see what Tamar said? If a man don't touch you within the first 3 or 4 interactions that he gay?
Was that on Shane Brown?
Yeah, she said that it was on her personal page, but she said that if a man doesn't touch you in like you all's first 3 to 4 interactions, he's gay.
I wouldn't say he gay, but I would definitely question it.
Why you just can't be a gentleman?
I was always told you shouldn't do anything until the woman gives you the go ahead because you get your ass slapped. Like what the hell? Like
I'm always ready.
We get
so I don't
so
know.
many conflicting.
I think that's for a later show. I don't think we're gonna talk about that.
We're not gonna talk about that. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I would give you the side eye. Nothing, nigga. What is we shaking hands at the end of the night? We ain't got fucked, but I mean, no, I'm just saying like we ain't gotta do it, but I mean, nothing.
He could just be a gentleman.
I definitely.
And he might not want that charge. He might not want that. Oh, I made an advance towards her, and yeah. I mean, we have seen where the charges are plentiful these days. Mm-hmm. If I looked at you too long, oh, this person raped me, and then it comes out that nothing really happened.
I think that's just society being too damn sensitive. Yeah, I definitely think that y'all being too fucking sensitive.
That's a strong charge.
No, there was a football player who got charged by I think two black football players who got charged by a white woman of rape. One guy ended up $30,000 in debt. Got booted out of school. Like that kind of stuff happens.
I didn't say it didn't happen.
Like that people pull that stuff.
But I think that nowadays the people are way too sensitive with certain shit. I mean, just because somebody say, "Oh, you look nice," or because somebody speaks to you, that don't mean they trying to talk to you. I think women would take that overboard and be a little extra with it. And it's like, no, they might have just thought you looked nice and kept it moving.
Okay, well, speaking of extra, before we wrap up, are we giving T.I. a hall pass?
I am.
What?
I am. I don't think there's anything wrong with, I think the way he said it was wrong. But, I mean, if he want to make sure his daughter is a virgin, what's wrong with going to the doctor?
But she might just be a virgin in the front hole, not the back hole.
This is true, but
did you have to tell everybody that you made her sign the HIPAA disclosure form? And like, why did you have to tell everybody that? You giving him a pass for that, or are you giving him a pass for active parenting? Because there's a difference.
I'm giving him a pass for active parenting.
Okay.
But I think that nowadays people don't have a filter. They put all their business out on social media. All of it. I know a lot of y'all baby daddy stories just from your Instagram and your Facebook. He was here today, gone tomorrow. It's all on your page. I don't think, I mean, that's just the way we live in. Nothing is sacred. Nothing is protected. Nobody has any personal business.
Do you feel like we have personal business?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. No, niggas don't know everything. And you won't. No, I'm not here to I will tell you how I think, but you ain't got to know what's going on with everything else.
Okay. Do you think that sometimes people have deemed how you think as, your premise for everything. Like, oh, I know her based on what she said.
Yes.
How have you dealt with that?
I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care. I think that people, like me and somebody is not talking today because they thought all my Instagram posts was about them. You need to get a life. Go read a book. You think I got nothing to do but post about you? It's not true. I might thought something was funny. I might thought something was true, and that's why I put it up. No.
Was some of your posts about them?
It may have reminded me about them. No, it may have reminded me about them, but I didn't intentionally go look for something to put up to be like, hey, you a fake ass friend. You know you a fake friend. That's why we don't talk.
Well, fake friend, she talking to you.
I am.
Okay.
But I mean, like, no. I think people are too fucking sensitive. They need to get out their feelings and mind their own business.
So we should mind our business about what T.I. told us.
I mean, I think we all minding our business. Just because you have an opinion don't mean you're not minding your business. Just because you don't agree with, or I'm just assuming you don't agree with. You do.
I don't agree with how he delivered that. No, I don't.
You don't? Okay, but what do you think about his whole method of trying to protect his daughter's virginity?
Are you really?
Protecting it?
Are you really?
I don't know. Like
just because, this is the thing, just because her hymen is still intact does not mean she's not sexually active. And honestly, she's 18. She already lives a public life because of who her parents are. Mm-hmm. Why did you feel the need to tell that you still take me to my OBGYN appointments and that you made me sign a disclosure form and that you put a post-it note on my door? Hey, 9:30 gyno appointment. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not okay. And then what if my hymen not in check? So what? Maybe he put the head in and it didn't break. Why is that the media's concern? T.I. a loud nigga anyway.
Oh, look who said the N-word.
I did. And me and him have the same birthday.
Do y'all?
Mm-hmm.
I like T.I. I think he tried to use a whole lot of $5 words, which is a little irritating. But
okay, we talked about this last season real quick. What's a $5 word?
That whole expeditiously shit. That's, I mean.
Why is that a $5 word though?
But you could tell T.I. be trying too hard, too hard.
So he's smart dumb?
Smart, more like dumb smart.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. He's really a dummy, but he playing
So you
smart.
like a dummy?
I think he looked good on the outside.
That's a topic.
What?
You look good on the inside, but you shit on the inside. On the outside. What? You look good on the outside, but you shit on the inside. I think that's a topic.
Okay. Well, but yeah, I mean, I think that he shouldn't have shared it. But what's sacred nowadays? Like, really, what's sacred? You got Fizz and April out here fucking on the gram. What's sacred? Nothing is sacred anymore.
It is. I think everything can be sacred. It's a matter of what you put it out there for and what's your motive.
I don't think anything is sacred no more. I think that's why we see all these loyalty posts. That's why we see all these fake friends. Like, nothing is sacred anymore. That whole, you shouldn't tell my business. Like, nothing is sacred anymore. Niggas just do not care. They would do anything for a heart. And I don't know what y'all gonna do when they start taking them hearts away.
But they been taking them away.
Oh,
they just now telling y'all that they taking them away. Yeah.
Oh,
if you look at like the algorithm of Instagram and like certain posts you see and then certain people you don't see all of a sudden, how you follow 1,000+ people and you got 40 likes on a picture? Come on now.
Huh? Say that again?
How do you follow? You follow 1,000 people. 1,000 people follow you, right?
Uh-huh.
And you might get 40 or so likes on a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Or you might have 275 views on the video, but 2 likes on the video.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ain't been paying attention to that?
No, I haven't. Tell me more.
It's the algorithm of social media.
But what does that mean?
It means the flow of social media, like how they track what you do. Like, like suggested posts or suggested people you should follow.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Okay, so like I don't know how many friends on my Instagram page, but I don't have that many likes.
Maybe you do, you just don't know.
So you think Instagram is holding that back?
They've been doing that. They just not telling y'all about it.
But why would they do that? What's their benefit?
Instagram, what's y'all benefit?
You so irritating.
Fuck, I don't know. Shit, I work a 9 to 5. I don't work for Instagram.
Not for too much longer.
You ain't lying.
Not for too much longer. All right. So what you gonna close with?
There's no rule book to parenting, but there's no rule book to life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you right your wrongs if you can, and if you can't, that's okay too.
Do you think that people can call other people bad parents?
Yes and no, and I know you hate that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't cross them too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go into 35 cross-eyed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you can, but I think there's a way to provide constructive criticism.
What does a bad parent look like?
You know, if you in Miami and your son got on Pro Wings, you're bad parenting.
What if he's young and he's gonna get his clothes dirty?
No, if you are misusing or misappropriating the funds deemed for your child to go take these trips and buy these bundles, no.
Hey, time out. So I was watching Judge Judy because I get home early enough now.
You pressed.
And this mother got a $20,000 back child support check. Mm-hmm. And she spent it all on a deposit to her apartment. She got a car. She paid off her mother because she had been in jail and her mother had kept her kids. So she gave her mother something and she bought her kids clothes. Anyway, 20 G's is gone. So Judge Judy was like, you ain't need no car. And she's like, yes, I did. I got 3 other kids. Do you think that somebody should be able to use child support? It's not really for the benefit of her. It really is benefiting her family. Do you think they can? What you think about that? I know we talk about child support all the time, but real quick.
You know, I don't agree with child support, so I don't even know why you asked me that.
I don't, but let's just say that was your friend, and they bought a car, and they say, what you think?
I took $20,000 and back rid child support and bought a car?
I need to get me and my kids around.
Okay, where's the child that's for this $20,000?
In the back seat.
And you got your mother out of jail?
No, she was in jail. Her mother watched the kids while she was in jail, so she gave her a little bit of money for watching the kids. For I think 12, 16, 18 months.
I don't agree with that, so I really don't have an answer. I don't agree with child support at all.
Okay. We done, Alex? You got a closing thought since you've been on the mic all night?
I think you two are wonderful individuals, and I think your perspectives are fascinating.
Okay.
What is your closing thought for the show? Parenting, politics, love?
I think that anyone who is raising a child should focus on on ensuring that their child grows up to be a good person, not on becoming some cookie cutter version of what you want them or expect them to be.
Okay.
You want to raise a person who grows up to, have their own kids if they have kids, and you want them to be a positive reflection of you, not of some idealized version of male or female or gender XYZ.
Okay. You want to come around here and say hi to your mother?
So,
oh, Brian cut you off.
hi, Mom. Damn.
Oh, you didn't cut him off? Okay, go ahead. Let your mother see you on camera.
Hi, Mom.
You're with the Dhons.
I'm with the Dhons. Thank you for supporting me in everything that you've done. You're a wonderful, wonderful mom, and I love you. I love you so much.
Okay, all right, Alex. We'll see y'all next week.